Okay, so today we're going to learn linear graph. So linear graph, we learn about the basics. So you all learn all these, right? This is called the, does anybody know what is this called?
Straight line. The compass.
Does anybody know? What is the one in pink? I'm going to highlight in pink. What is it called?
Y-axis.
Very good. It's called the y-axis. And what about the one in blue? What's the one in blue called?
X-axis.
So when the y-axis and x-axis meets, what is this particular point called? The point where the y-axis and x-axis meets.
The y-intercept.
Intercept.
Nope, that's not the y-intercept.
Is it the
Intercept?
intercept?
It's not the intercept. What is
Origin?
the, yes, it's the origin. And what is the origin coordinate?
0.
We don't write 0. How do we write a coordinate form?
Open bracket.
0, 0.
Whereby this first 0 is
X.
x what?
Axis.
Nope. X what?
X point.
Nope. X start with B. X what?
X.
Next, what about the other one?
Y value.
So now I want you guys to write exactly the same. Don't forget to color code in red, blue, and green. Once you're done, take a photo and send it to me on group chat. Okay, so right now we learned the basic about X and Y. Now we must learn how to apply. So I'll just do a brief one, a revision. So on how to apply, you know that, for example, this is your X and Y. Of course, we don't write X-axis and Y-axis by then already. So let's say I want to draw this. Okay, A. A, it will be 2, 0. B will be 0, comma, minus 2. C will be 5, comma, negative 8. D will be negative 8, comma, 5. All right. So right now, Chauncey, give me a random number to fill in. That is all single digit. Can be positive, can be negative. Can be both positive, can be both negative.
8.
8.
Yep.
Yeah, one more.
7.
Okay, since Chauncey give both positive, then Alyssa give me both negative.
-3, -6.
Okay, so I want Chauncey to draw this. Alyssa, you draw this. Okay? So you all can write on the screen, right?
No.
Okay, before you all write on the screen, I'm going to show you all how to do it. So what is A? A is here. A is 2, 0. So I'm going to write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Then we have, let's put as 2, 4. 6, 8. Then I'll have -2, -4. Okay, so I'll do the 2 blue one. When they say 2, 0, so I find where X is 2, 0. So this is where 2, 0 is. I write as A. Next, I have 0 minus 2. Means X is 0 and Y is -2. It'll be here. And this will be B. All right. So right now, Chauncey and Alyssa, you all can start doing your respective points.
Sure.
Okay, so Alyssa did C, right? So let's see whether it's correct. So Alyssa did C. She said 5. She dot it all the way down. And then y is minus 8. So she look at the y-axis all the way 8. Negative 8. Yes, that's correct. So next, Alyssa also did E. She went 8. Oh, that's not right.
Oh.
Because Alyssa, you did 7. Can you see? 7, not 8. Alyssa, you did 7, 7, not 8, 7. So please do your
Yes.
corrections for your coordinate of E.
Now?
Yeah. Okay, so Alyssa did 8 and 7. 8, 7, correct for E. Next up, for D. Oh no, you did F first. So F, Chauncey, you did wrongly because the question asked for minus 6.
negative 3,
Minus
then
3,
negative
minus
6.
6. But you did negative 3, negative 3.
Yeah. I sent Alyssa the correct one already.
So totally not right. So right now we did the F. And we did the D, which is minus 8 and 5. Okay. So I hope that you all copied all this onto your notes. Then next, we're going to move on to the next part, which is the linear graph equations. Okay, so what about this gradient equation means, okay? So gradient, I want you to go and memorize this guy's face. It's super important. I call him Mr. Gradient. So how does Mr. Gradient look like? Mr. Gradient looks like that. Okay, I draw a circle. This is his face, right? Can you see his face? Okay, so I'm going to do different colors. This is his eyebrow. It's called upslope. Upslope means positive gradient. Okay? Next, this is called downslope. Downslope means negative gradient. This one, undefined gradient. And this one, zero gradient. So it's called vertical and horizontal. So later, I'm going to go more in-depth in Mr. Gradient. At the moment, this is how Mr. Gradient look like. We're going to use red, pink, green, and blue. So do you guys have these 4 colors? Red, green, pink, and blue. Have ya?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do red and pink first. So I don't want anyone to do anything right now. Don't copy anything. Just listen. Very, very important. So the first one, okay, is the line. So don't tell me that Miss Lin is straight line. I know everything is straight line, okay? So this is called the slope. The slope is talking about the M. So what do I mean? Equation is always in the form of y equal to mx plus c. Can you see that? So this M is the one in brown I'm going to highlight is the coefficient of x. And coefficient of x will tell you the slope or the steepness of the line. Steepness of line. Okay? So this is the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x term. Now, a lot of students make a mistake. You know why? Are you listening?
Yep.
So the mistake that they make is that they never make y the subject. This one, Alyssa knows. And then that's how they get the answer wrong. You must make y the subject. Very important. And put a giant star. Now you all can make your notes. So just now, remember I told you we have pink, we have red, we have green, and we have blue. So right now, what I'm going to focus on is the red. I'm going to zoom into this part, this red, guys. Look here. Can you see this part here that I'm highlighting? This red patch here. This red patch. I'm going to focus on this red patch. So this red patch is actually called upslope. So how does a graph, upslope graph look like? So it will look something like this. Oh, this is so big. Okay. So an upslope graph will look something like this. Okay. Will look something like this. And will look something like this. So later I want you all to draw all these different examples in your notes. Got it, people?
Got it.
Okay, it'll look something like that. All right. So these are the different upslope graph. And what is the, can you see the eyebrow says upslope and then the eye says positive? There's a positive sign. So the type of gradient will be positive. And what is the equation format? Guys, look here. Can you see it's positive M? So right now, can you see here I put plus minus C, meaning the C can be positive, can be negative. But who is the main star? Who is the main focus?
M.
M must be positive. Now, what kind of equation format? Meaning to say, if let's say I have y is equal to 2x minus 3. Can or cannot? If I have y equal to 2x minus 3, is it possible, people?
No.
Chauncey say no. Alyssa?
No.
It's possible. Why? Because here is positive.
But I thought you still need to add a positive in front.
No, in math, when we don't write a positive, is it a positive? If I write 2x,
Yeah.
is it positive 2x?
Yeah.
Yes.
So is this acceptable? Is this an
Yes.
upslope?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is one example. Next, example number 2. Let's say I have y is equal to negative 4x. Is this acceptable?
No.
No.
Why?
Because
It
upslope
should
is
be
positive.
positive.
So I have just positive 4x, but behind I don't have anything. Is it okay?
Yes. No.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh,
Because
yes,
behind
yeah.
is a plus 0. It's fine. 4x plus 0 is the same as 4x. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Next, the last one. This one is more complex. Let's say I have 2y is equal to 5x minus, or rather plus 4. Is this acceptable? Is this acceptable?
No.
Why no?
Because it's 2y and not 1y. Like it's
Well,
not just y.
from
So
2y,
5 divided by 2 is not a
1.2.5.
whole number.
well, if this one 2y, I'm making to y, and how y is equal to what?
2.5x
2.5x.
plus 2. So it's positive, so it's acceptable.
Yeah, it's positive, it's acceptable, even though it's decimal. Be whether it's decimal or fraction is acceptable. Understand, people?
Understand.
As long as it's positive, that's all. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, now write everything in red. But be careful, the X and Y axis have to be black. So you can copy everything. Once you're done, let me know. All right, so can you see the one in pink? So right now, the one in pink is down slope. So I'm going to highlight the next Mr. Gradient. So can you see my Mr. Gradient, the face? I'm going to highlight in pink now. Can you see the pink here? So this pink is down slope. Down slope means the type of gradient will be negative. And then negative means, now guys, can you see this is minus M? The C can be plus or minus, it doesn't matter. But the slope has to be negative. Negative means, can you see, either number 1 is like that, negative, or cut through the origin or below the origin. So there are 3 different types. So now I'll let you make your notes. Then before I move on to the 3 different examples also on how the downslope negative look like. Also guys, can you see this 3, 1, 2, 3, the one in red? It's nothing to do with the top, okay? Meaning to say that this is not representative of this. This is not a representative of this, and this is not a representative of this. Got it?
Got it.
There are 3 separate things, huh? All right, give you guys some time to copy. Once you're done copying, let me know. Just say I'm done completing, and then I'll move on to the pink one still.
Do we need to send to you?
No need, later, after I'm done with the examples. Because if you notice, the examples are incomplete.
You should record.
All right. So the next one, the 3 examples will be example like y is equal to negative half x minus 3. So even though it's a fraction, is it acceptable?
Mm-hmm.
So next will be 2y is equal to negative 5x plus 2. And the last one will be like y is equal to negative x. Can you see that? Y is equal to negative x. The last one, huh? All right, so now you can take a picture and send it to me for me to check. Okay, so the next part is the one in green. Are you able to see the one in green? Guys, able to see the one in green? Okay, now I want you all to take out a calculator right now and put 2 divided by 0. What do you get?
2.
Are you sure what's that? That's what your calculator says. 2 divided by 0 is 2.
Error.
Math error.
Exactly. So in exam, if you realize that your gradient is a math error, don't panic. It just means that it's a vertical line whereby the gradient is undefined. Okay? And how to memorize this? On how the equation will be. So vertical line, right, guys? Okay, can you see here? Where does my vertical line cuts? The x or the y-axis? Where does my vertical line cuts? My x or y-axis? So guys, can you see this vertical line here?
Mm-hmm.
So in exam, if you get 2 divided by 0, it's math error, it doesn't matter. It just means that it's a vertical line, means the gradient is undefined. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, can you see the green line that I just draw over here?
Mm-hmm.
Where does it cut? The x or y-axis?
It cuts the x-axis.
At what point?
At the
Look at carefully. What's the number? At what
2.
point? So the answer is just x equal to 2. It's a constant number. So the equation will be x equal to question
2.
mark, meaning this question mark is a constant term. Understand? Now I want you to try another one. Let's say like this, huh? I'm going to draw this line right here and I put negative 5. So what is the equation of this vertical line?
Negative 5. X equals negative 5.
If you write negative 5, you are wrong. To write x is equal to negative 5. Okay? Don't make notes yet, guys. Don't make notes yet. Next, I'm going to do the next one. Let me do a ruler.
Is the last one the last one?
So right now, what do you think the name of this line is? Anybody can guess? The one in blue.
Horizontal line.
Horizontal.
Horizontal. And what about the gradient?
The gradient.
0.
Very good. 0. So what do you think the equation format will be?
X equals to 0.
Nope.
M equals 0.
Nope.
Y
Use the one
equals
in green as an example. This is the one in green.
X equals 0.
X equals 0. No, that's what Chauncey said.
X equals question mark.
No, then there's no difference from the
Wait,
green
cannot.
one. Come on, I think there's someone said the answer already. What would it be? What's the equation format?
M equals 0.
No. Just now someone said the answer already.
Is it me or Alyssa?
I cannot tell you guys. If you understand the one in green, you'll be able to do the one in blue.
X equals 0.
No.
Nope.
Y equals
question mark.
Yes, y equal to question mark. So right now, what kind of line do I draw?
A horizontal
line.
So I draw a horizontal line. And guys, please use a ruler and draw it properly. Horizontal line here and horizontal line here. Okay? So let's say here it's 10. So what would the equation be?
Y equals to 10.
And let's say here is -1. So what is the equation?
Y
Y
equals
equals
to negative
negative
1.
1.
Now let's try something else. One more. Here. So let's say this is my line right here. So what will it be?
Y equals
Y
0.
equals 0.
Yes, y equal to 0. Then what do you notice? Let's go back to the one in green. The one in green. What do you notice about this vertical line? It is parallel to who?
Parallel to the y-axis. However, the horizontal line is parallel to the x-axis.
So here I must write parallel to
Y-axis.
y-axis. Then the one in blue, I got to write as?
Parallel to
Parallel to
x-axis.
x-axis.
Yes, now you can make your notes. Go. Then after take a photo, let me see. And all this you need to memorize and understand. If you understand all this, then memorizing won't be that difficult already. Okay, guys, be very careful of type 1 and type 2, okay? Because type 1, if you look at the pink words, it's actually, for type 1, we are finding the value. Can you see that? Finding
Yeah.
the value. But in type 2, we are interpreting. Interpreting means we need to like say in English words what it meant. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so once you're done copying, let me know and then we will start.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so remember just now, what did I tell you guys about equation? Equation is always in what formula?
Equations are always in
What's the formula for equation?
y equals mx plus minus c.
Is just y equal to mx, what?
Plus C.
Plus minus c.
Plus c. So y equal to mx plus c, what did I tell you about the equation? So if you look at this equation, is it in the right format?
No.
Why is it not in the right format?
Negative 5 need to sub negative 5 into y.
No. Is it in the right format that we just went through just now? What is
No.
considered a right format?
The equal is before.
Uh-oh. Can you please go and look at your notes
No.
right
The
now?
y is the subject.
It should be 2y equals 6x minus 5.
Also not right. So let's start with the equation. 2y plus 6 is equal to minus 5. What must we do to this equation?
Negative 5 must be in front.
What must we do to this
We
equation?
must bring negative 5 to the front.
No. Look at the notes. What does it say? What must we do? In order to make it into the right format, we need to...
Y is the 2y is the subject.
Divide the gradient. by
No,
2.
it's in the notes. If you copy the notes just now, I told you guys what to do already.
Y is the subject, so
You
2y
need
is
to
the
make...
Make 2y the subject.
No, that's not what is in the notes. The notes never say make 2y the subject.
Make y the subject.
Yes, make y the subject. So right now, is y the subject?
No.
How to make y the subject? Means the y must be on the left-hand side or right-hand side.
Left-hand side.
So is it in the right format? So what do we do now?
Bring the positive 6x over to the other
To the
side.
Very good.
negative
So what do I
5.
have now?
2y equals to negative
Negative
5
6x negative 5.
minus 6x.
So let's put minus 5 first. Minus 5.
6x.
Negative 6x.
Now, what happens? What is the right format? If you look at it, y equal to mx plus c. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
No.
Why no?
Mx is before c.
Very good. So let's rearrange again. So what should we have?
A2y equals negative 6x minus 5.
So is it still in the right format?
Yes.
Yes.
No, it's still not in the right format. Why is it still not in the right format?
Oh, it should be y.
Yes. So how do we make y?
Divide by 2.
Divide by 2.
So what is my answer now?
Y equals negative 3x minus 2.5.
Now is it in the right format?
Yes.
So now it's in the right format. I can interpret it already. So now from here, I can find the gradient. What is the gradient from here?
The gradient is negative 3.
So I know that the gradient is negative 3. Don't solve yet, huh? I can do one more also. I can find the what? Beside gradient. You can find the
Y-intercept.
y-intercept. Very good. And how to find the y-intercept?
Negative 2.5.
Yes. Easy peasy. Now I can solve the question. A, what did they ask for? What
The
do they want?
gradient of the line.
So what's the answer?
Negative 3.
Negative 3.
Now B, what did they ask for?
Find the
Coordinates
coordinates of the
y-intercept.
y-intercept.
So can I write negative 2.5?
No.
Why no? Why I cannot write negative 2.5? So let's say in exam, I put negative. So this is the correct answer for A. Negative 2.5, wrong. Why negative 2.5 is wrong?
Because it needs to be in the format of coordinates.
Yes, coordinates. So coordinates is in what format?
Open bracket, something, comma, something, close bracket.
So open bracket, something, comma, something. So where do we put the negative 2.5? On the left or on the right?
On the right.
So what should be on the left then?
0.
The
Yes,
x-axis is
0.
0.
The end. And this is the correct answer. And this is the part that a lot of students always make mistake because they didn't read the question carefully. All right, so next one, the last question for today is type 2. So look at type 2 right now. Once you're done copying, take a photo and send it to me on WhatsApp. Then I know that we can continue to type 2. All right, so type 2, can you see the equation that they give you? So let's look at the equation that they give you. Where is the equation that they give you?
Y equals
Y equals
negative
negative
8x
8x
plus
plus
240.
Okay, very good. So is it in the right format?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so from this, since it's in the right format, we can find two things as usual. What
We
are
can
the two
find
things we can
gradient and
find?
y-intercept. The gradient is negative 8.
So we
and
can find
the
gradient. So let's all
Y-intercept
it
is
down.
240.
You write it down already? Gradient. And what's the gradient?
8. Negative 8.
Wrong. Negative 8 is correct. You say 8 is wrong. So what's the next one we can find?
Y-intercept, which is 240.
Okay, so right now, a lot of students do not know how to interpret what does gradient means and y-intercept means. So for this question, they say, what does the negative 8, which is the gradient, represents? Understand, people? So I want to add in one more question type in case your teacher changed the question. So I want to add in one more that is explain. What does $240 represent in the equation? Okay, everybody pens down. Listen, this is very important. So right now we are doing gradient. Gradient is the -8, correct or not? So this is, if you write the answer is, oh, it represents the gradient.
No.
Wrong. It's not that. Gradient is always in a particular format. Okay? This one Alyssa knows. What is the format for gradient? If you want to explain.
Negative 8 represents.
Do not read out the answer.
Yeah, negative 8.
Wait, guys, before we move on, I want to do a rough sketch. What is on the x-axis? What does the x-axis represents? What does the x-axis represents? This is your x-axis. What does it represent?
The -8.
Means not reading question.
The months.
Not reading question.
Days.
Yes.
Yes, days.
Next, Y.
Money.
What does
Pocket
the
money.
Y represents?
Pocket
Pocket
money.
money.
Not
spending.
detailed enough. If you just say pocket money, not detailed
Amount of
enough.
pocket money.
Yes, amount of pocket money. Now write all this down now. So right now, can you see the Y-intercept? Y-intercept
Mhm.
means it cuts where? It cuts number 1 or it cuts number 2. Y-intercept means it cuts number 1 or it cuts number 2.
Number 1.
Yes, it cuts number 1 at what number?
0.
Nope. It cuts the Y-intercept at what number?
-8.
Means you're not reading questions. I already say Y-intercept.
Oh,
what
240.
Yes, it cuts at 240. So what is this number? We should write as
200.
240.
now. Can you see the gradient? The gradient is what? What value?
-8.
So let's go back to Mr. Gradient. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. How does my line look like? Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? Number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? How does it look like? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. How would my line look like? Number 1, number 2, number 3, or
Number
number
4.
4? Means didn't listen in class on gradient.
Number 2.
Very good. Means you're listening in class. It's number 2. Why? Explain to us. How come it's number 2?
Intercept. Is
Why are
it
you
because
talking
it
about intercept? We're
intersect
talking
at
about
Y?
gradient. Hello, Shansi. We're talking about gradient, not intercept.
Because the gradient is -8.
Very good. The gradient is -8. And what did I tell you when the gradient is negative?
The line will be
downslope.
downslope.
Downslope. So why are you giving me 4? 4, is it a downslope?
No.
4 is a what kind of gradient? Or what kind of line?
Horizontal line.
Exactly. So right now, we know it's downslope. Can you see how the graph look like now? Do you all draw this into your notes already? The one on the top,
Yes.
right? Very important. So I will do the one in red because the one in red is the easiest. That is the Y-intercept. So do you notice the Y-intercept happens when what? What do you notice? Y-intercept happens when what?
When the line crosses, like, intercepts with the y-axis.
Y-intercept happens at what? Just now we did something like Y-intercept in type 1. What do you notice when it's Y-intercept? When you all told me the coordinate just now about Y-intercepts. What do you notice about Y-intercept coordinate?
Is open bracket something, comma something, close bracket.
It's a
What do we
point
know?
in the line.
So what then? Tell you guys about the Y-intercept. When does it happen? Or the Y-intercept? If you look at type 1, you guys will know it's a very big clue on how we do coordinates.
It is the point in the line where the line intercepts the y-axis.
Then how do you get the answer for type 1?
Huh?
Then type 1, how do you find the coordinates of Y-intercept? If type 1 you can do coordinates of Y-intercept, how come cannot do type 2? In answering my question, when does Y-intercept happens?
When the line intercepts the y-axis.
No. What's your answer for type 1? About the coordinates of the y-intercept.
Open bracket 0, comma negative 2.5, close bracket.
So, what does it mean? The y-intercept happens when? Okay, please take some time to digest type 1 coordinates of y-intercept. Because I think you are not understanding the coordinates of y-intercept. Once you digest that, then we'll continue moving on. So what do you say about x-intercept just now? Or y-intercept?
Y-intercept is a line where it is 0.
Totally wrong already.
Y-intercept is the point in the line where x equals 0.
Yes, repeat again.
Y-intercept is the point in the line where x equals 0.
So the y-intercept happens when x has a value of
0.
Now, Shonsi, your turn to explain. What about x-intercept?
X-intercept is a point in a line where y has a value 0.
So I want you all to write these two into your notes right now. Very, very important. Before we move on to interpret and explain what does -8 and 240 represents. So right now, you know that y-intercept has 240 when x is 0. So what is x referring to? What's x referring to? I'll read the question. What does x referring to? Are we doing
X-
type 1 or type 2 now?
X refers to the amount of days.
Yes, x refers to number of days. So what happens when you say 0 days? What does 0 days means? Because now you know x equal to 0, right? So it means 0 days, correct?
Like the start date.
Yes, so 0 days means it's the start. Or we use words like initial. Get it? Very important. This is a very important word you need to learn from set 1 to set 2, set 2, set 3 to set 4. Whenever they say initial means the time is 0. Okay? So right now, what does 240 means? It represents
0 days. The
no,
initial number of
240.
days.
240, read the question. Are you talking about days for 240?
The 240 is the initial
Initial
amount
what?
of pocket money.
Yes, the keyword is it represents the initial. Initial
Marine
means when
received.
day is 0. It represents the initial amount of
pocket money Marine received.
pocket money that Mariam received. So the rest of the days is what? After X days. So it's the initial amount of pocket money that Mariam received. I need another keyword. Read the keyword in the question.
At the beginning of each month.
At the beginning
of each month.
So the keyword is initial. So beginning of each month is when? What? What's the X value we need to talk about?
When X value is
What's
a
the X
point,
value representing?
a point in a line where Y has a value
Oh,
of 0.
that's why we talk about X value already. You must tell me X value is with
The X value is the amount of days.
Yes, a day. So the day, which day number are we talking about?
0.
Day 0. Okay, so I've done the easier one. That's a $240. Now I want to move on is the gradient. Have you all copied already? Can I move on to the gradient right now?
Yep.
So right now the gradient. So the gradient is always something for something. So Alyssa, read out to us the model answer. What does the gradient represent?
The gradient represents the amount of money spent per day.
No, not amount of money. What kind of amount of?
Pocket money.
Pocket money.
Pocket money.
Spent per day.
What?
Marine
Spent per day.
Spent. Because it says spent. Is it spent?
Yes, spent.
Yes.
Miss, I'm missing a spent word in the question, is it?
Huh?
Because the question you never really spent. Can you check the question again? Do you copy the question correctly?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Give me a second.
I don't think so. You tell me the correct question.
Yeah, there's no spent.
So can you tell me what is the correct question? What is missing? Mariam, what?
No, like the question is correct.
I don't think the question is correct.
Oh, but it is.
Something is missing here. Can you help me check? Something is missing here. You're missing some keywords here. Read out the question to me. You have the original question, right?
Yeah.
Read out the original question.
Mariam receives $240 for pocket money at the beginning of each month. The amount of pocket money, y dollars after x days, follows the equation y equals negative 8x plus 240. Basically, like you have to like find out that it's spent.
Can you take photo of the whole question and send it to me?
Like,
so you know that Mariam received 240, right? So why, as the days go by, her money get lesser and lesser and lesser?
Because she spent the money.
So the keyword is spend. Understand? It gets lesser and lesser and lesser because it's spent. Now, you need to understand whenever you want to explain gradient, it's always this format whereby you talk about the y value first, the action of the y value, and then you need to always have this keyword called per. It doesn't change. It's always per. Understand? And then day is referring to the x value. So let's say the question changed to something else, meaning they changed a different y value and x value. What would that mean? It means that you cross out all this, you write something else, you cross out all this, you write something else. Per means every. Do you understand now? So this is how you explain a gradient question. Okay, dokes?
Okay.
So right now, when it comes to 240, since we know that that's the initial money she received, right? That is, you need to add in one more keyword for this now, because the keyword is, the action is she spent, correct? So if let's say the initial means, did she spend or did she not spend?
Haven't
not
spent.
spent.
Yeah, so you gotta say, it represents the initial pocket of money she received without spending any money. Okay, dokie. So once you're done copying all this, take a photo and send it to me on WhatsApp, and then we are done for today.